In this video, I'm walking you through an open concept home that has amazing views everywhere. Stick with me for a great home tour. This is the Haskell plan built by Coventry Homes. Now throughout this video, I'll show you different homes built by Coventry at various price points in communities across the Austin, Texas metro area. Now two of those homes are over $700,000, but one of them is actually under $600,000. And then you got this floor plan that was built by two of my clients at a higher price point. And later on in this video, I'll show you my clients' backyards that close on this same floor plan. Now, one of my clients built this plan on a northeast facing cul-de-sac lot. One of them built this plan with an amazing view off their backyard, and both of them love this plan because of the high ceilings and windows everywhere. And that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through in this video, and I'm going to show you the different upgrades that you can do in this plan, the Haskell plan. Now, my name is Raj Sahu. I'm a realtor here in Austin, Texas, and I've represented clients with 21 different builders, including Coventry, many times over. Now, 98% of my clients reach out to me first through social media, and they watch videos like this, and it starts building the dream of potentially moving to the Austin, Texas metro area or upgrading within Austin. And I love showcasing homes that have these tall ceilings, great design, and views like this. And I'm going to show you multiple throughout this video. Now we're going to start right here in the kitchen because this is one of the biggest factors that my clients were looking at when they absolutely fell in love with the Haskell plan. And in this kitchen, it's all about the cabinetry. Notice how the cabinets go all the way down almost into the dining room, which we're going to see later on in the video. And I think that makes this kitchen just feel that much larger. I think the window left of the built-in appliances is great, which we'll check out in a second. And from a design standpoint, this backsplash ties in all the great colors that are within this kitchen. Now, let me know what you think about the hardware that's on these cabinets. I know it's a small item, but I'm seeing this more and more often in so many kitchens I'm walking through. And every time I see it, I can't help but think that people with young kids, like we have a 3 and a 1-year-old at home, I just think about them using that as a way to climb up to the countertops, and it absolutely terrifies me. But let me know what you think about that. That's what's running through my head when I see it. Now, we don't usually see dark countertops like this. I feel like it's always risky to do it, but anytime you have a professional designer doing these model homes, there's so much fun design that you can pick off and put into your home if you build from scratch. And if you like views like that view that's off that breakfast nook area, off the living room, it's off the primary bedroom, it's in so many locations across this home, stick with me. I'm going to show you so many views and really talk about the areas across the Austin, Texas metro that's attracting people to those areas because of the beauty and the topography that's there. And I'm going to show you that beauty next, but do not underestimate areas like that. The pantry. I've had people love a home, but they hated the pantry and they cannot get it out of their head, and they don't buy the home because that's a space they're going to be using every day. And this is a space they love coming to. I can't tell you how many times people say, I love this window. I look at it every day when I'm making my cup of coffee, and just getting that sunlight, that view, or looking out to greenery or something. It's amazing getting as much natural light as you can into these homes. And that's the feedback that I've gotten from so many people that have moved here, especially ones that are moving from out of state, like from the West Coast, like Seattle, where people tell me it's cloudy for 9 months out of the year, or the West Coast, like California. They don't want to leave California because of the beauty and topography that's there. And the only way they're going to move is because it's cost effective to move to middle of Texas, but they still want the vibe of being around beauty, being around greenery. And I think this breakfast nook area is such a great example of that. And while you take in this view, and then we're going to head out to the patio next to really show you the beauty that's here in this community called Lariat. I should mention the metrics of this plan. This plan starts around 3,600 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, but there is an upgrade that you can do upstairs that adds a 5th bedroom and another bathroom to the home. There's also different upgrades, one of which my client did called a workout room, which you can do on the first floor. So it gets you a separate space to work out. And then there's different patio upgrades that you can do to make the patio larger. But I think what you need to really focus on is the beauty that's here in this community called Lariat, because there is rolling hills in this community and beauty that I don't think many people know about. And I think that's because the first couple sections of Lariat was in like the flatter part of this community, but I was always telling people there's hills in the back there and that's where they're planning more lots. And now here we are, and take a look at one of the first homes that was completed on this section. When I say in this section, take a look at their lots all the way down there that are just dirt lots right now that you can build right next to this model home. So this similar view that you're seeing out here can be accomplished building from scratch, kind of right over there. And I actually just want to give you a closer look at this because as you see the windows in this home, I want you to imagine them looking out to this. And these are the lots that I think people are surprised you can still build on, because oftentimes they see a model home and they just think, oh, that's just a model home. The builder's just trying to show their best lot that they have. They have great lots like this. Now, there are going to be homes in that dirt area in the back left, kind of built up on that hillside. But if you want to know exactly where those homes are, you want to see where the views are in this community, then go ahead and scan the QR code on the right side of your screen if you're watching this on your TV, and that will populate an email that asks for a map of this community Lariat, and I have circled where those lots are, and I can send it right back to you through email. Now, if you're not watching this on TV, maybe you're watching this on your cell phone or an iPad, just go scroll to the bottom of the description of this video and either shoot me a text or just call me on that number, and I'd be happy to connect with you and get you the information you need to identify the best opportunities within your criteria. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of opportunities right now, and most of them are bad. Most of them are overpriced, but as prices fall, I think there's some different areas that could make sense for you. Again, all based on your criteria. Getting back into the home here, this living room fireplace design's very epic. I mean, when I first looked at it, I said, wow, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. For my client who did one of the Haskell plans, they did do a fireplace, and they picked a beautiful tile going all the way up to the ceiling that was dark. I think it really breaks up that wall. You'll see a plan that we're going to tour later called the Wichita plan. I had 2 clients build that plan as well, and one of my clients that built that plan did a really cool accent wall that's here. And so if you want ideas of what to do in these homes, stick with me. I'm not the best designer, but I have great contacts and so many examples of what you can do with design that was designed by somebody who's a professional in that field. So even though I'm not a designer, I got all the videos and I got all the examples that you can do in these homes. Now, getting into the primary bedroom, what my clients say they love about bedrooms like this is the ceiling height and the windows off the back wall. I know I say that often, but take a look at this center window where instead of having a frame across the middle, it just keeps it open, and it almost makes it feel like that hillside is artwork back there. Take a look at that. Absolutely amazing. Now, there are some structural upgrades that I do want to get to. So if you decide to build this floor plan from scratch, like both of my clients did, there are different upgrades that you can do that change sometimes the square footage of the plan, or usually change the structure of the plan. And these are things that you do need to decide on before you actually contract with a builder. So on the structural upgrade side, there is a master pocket office, which is basically right before you walk into this primary bedroom. There's space right where that picture is. I could show it to you on a 2D floor plan, but basically it carves out that space right next to this bathroom too, kind of to the right side of where that mirror is. It would be through that wall. There would be a small desk area that you could do as a built-in right before you get into the primary bedroom. The compromise though is it's taking square footage from the primary closet. And we'll see here in a second, when you do the fireplace design in the family room or living room that we saw previously with the tall ceilings, that does take out some of the closet space that's in this primary closet. And one of my clients actually did that. I actually have measurements of their closet, and we decided that they would have still plenty of room in their primary closet, and they decided to do that fireplace because they really wanted a fun tile above that fireplace. And speaking of fun tiles, that is very interesting. It's almost like a small pipe tile that is going all the way up to the ceiling in this shower. And there's nobody living in this model home, so that's why I did get into it, just to kind of show you that when you get into that shower, it's still open to the rest of the bathroom. And I think with these 3 windows here and a freestanding tub, it just feels so open, and there's so much natural light coming in here. And these are the things that people tell me they absolutely have to have in their forever home, like this plan, the Haskell plan. Now, there are some other structural upgrades that you could do here that are pertinent to this plan, and these can change from time to time, and they're also different in communities that you can build this plan. So as of right now, the fireplace is one of those upgrades. That's why you see a wall here instead of rods. They need space to put the framing of that fireplace there. And by the way, I have videos of this plan at pre-drywall, so if you want to see what's behind the walls, I got so much. I take so many videos, especially when my clients build these plans from scratch. And even when I don't have videos or something, I can always get them. Like this workout room I thought was so useful to have on the first floor, and it fit kind of right in this area to the right of this primary shower. So they have a linen closet right here, but if you did the workout room, at the time, at least my client built it, they had access to a workout room. I'm not going to give the exact dimensions because builders change dimensions over time, but that workout room I think is so useful on the first floor, especially if you're looking to move here from out of state. A lot of people think they can work out in the garage, but it is brutally hot in the summer, even just in the spring. Sometimes it gets hot, and to the point where people they tell me they can't work out in their garage, right? And then for people that work on the second floor, sometimes that noise, depending on what you're doing, like dumbbells, treadmill, sometimes that noise can reverberate through the house. But obviously below the flooring on the first floor is concrete, and so I always recommend try to get a workout room on your first floor rather than using like a spare bedroom upstairs, or the garage is tough. If you're going to do the garage, at least try to have HVAC going there. At least have an opportunity to get HVAC going there so you can cool that area. Otherwise, I do get a lot of people that tell me in the summer they just can't work out there, and they lose that habit, unfortunately. Now, you just saw the utility room that was on that side. There is an upgrade to add a door from the utility room to the primary closet, and then this is the powder bathroom right off of that main living area. Now, stick with me here. There's still a lot to see on this first floor. Like, we got a study at the front of the home. We still got that dining room with an amazing view. And then I want to show you the second bedroom downstairs, because there's 2 bedrooms upstairs. There's an opportunity for a third bedroom upstairs. But on this first floor, so many people tell me this bedroom downstairs is important to them. And by the way, there's a garage on the left side there that you could access. And depending on your lot size, there are sometimes opportunities to add an extra garage bay. Like for my clients, they did that workout room option on this plan, but the workout room does take up the tandem garage space. So at the time I'm recording this, it's a 3-car tandem garage, but that workout room would take up the tandem space. But for my client who did that workout room, they had space to add a 3rd-car garage bay. And that was so important, especially at this square footage, where they ended up around 4,000 square feet when you add in all the things that they added to this plan. I think it's important at that square footage to have a 3-car garage. But one of my clients who built the Wichita plan, which is a similar plan to this, but it starts at 5 bedrooms, and that's the big difference, and you can add a media room upgrade to it. One of my clients did the workout room on that plan, and at the time I'm recording this, that doesn't take up the tandem garage space. So they got a tandem garage space, and they added a 3rd-car garage bay. So they ended up having a 4-car garage, which is incredible to have, especially at that square footage. But this second bedroom down, in my opinion, is a must-have. And having an in-suite full bathroom like this is so important, because people tell me if they're going to buy a forever home, they want to feel like they have enough space to have people over. And when they say have people over, sometimes that's parents, sometimes that's parents who are starting to become elderly. Maybe they can go up and down the steps now, but you want them to be comfortable for many, many, many years to come. Some people talk about grandparents and having them stay with them in the home, and having that bedroom down, that extra bedroom downstairs, is so important. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. And let me know what you think about this view from the dining room. A lot of people tell me they love the ceiling height and the windows here, but you rarely see a view from the side of a home. But this is a corner lot. There is a drop off back or next to it. That's why you get a little bit of privacy. But I don't know if you call that privacy, right? Did you see that car that came up down the road? You can kind of see into your dining room, or maybe at night you can see the headlights kind of flash around that area. For some people, they tell me they don't really need that, and they don't need a view from their dining room. But I do get a lot of people that tell me they want a view from the back of their home. And for the last 4 years, I've been getting calls almost every single week from people calling me through YouTube that watch videos like this. And when I get a call and somebody says, I want a beautiful view off the back of their home, I get excited. I think about all the lots that I've toured recently that have amazing views. And the reason why I get excited is because I know there are opportunities to build these beautiful homes with views like this. Now, this is in a community called Parkside on the River where Coventry currently builds in. It's in a neighboring suburb called Georgetown, Texas, which is north of Austin, Texas. And as you can tell, there is so much greenery in this neighborhood, and there are amazing lots with views like this that you can build your dream home on. But I gotta tell you, there are mistakes that I'm seeing people make. Like, one of those mistakes is not getting a usable backyard space. And as you can tell, my client has lots of space here in the backyard, and it's most definitely usable. And there were other lots that did not look like this. And this is the level of detail that I go through with my clients so they land on a great option that makes sense for them. Now, if you're just like one of my clients, you are watching one of my YouTube videos and this is inspiring you to build from scratch here in the Austin, Texas metro, or buy a home that's already been built out, and you're interested in looking at options that make sense for you, then scan the QR code on the right side of your screen. That will start a text message that all you got to do is click send, and that will connect us together, and my team and I will get on the phone with you, get to know a little bit more about your criteria, and then get you started on your home search process. Now, if you're not watching this on your TV, maybe you're watching this on a cell phone or an iPad, just scroll to the bottom of the description of this video. My phone number's there, my calendar's there, or a link to my calendar to book a call is there, and then we can certainly connect and get you started on your home search process. All right, back to the video. Now, there's still so much to see in this Haskell model home that's located in Lariat, a community that's well north of Parkside on the River. Like I mentioned, it's deeper, it's further out, but your dollar goes much further in this community. And I'll talk about those differences throughout this video, where as I get to the home after this that's for sale, that's in a community called Parkside on the River. Then we're going to go to a home that's for sale in Santa Rita Ranch, which is a very popular community here in Liberty Hill, Texas. And then at the end of the video, we're going to come back to a home for sale that has an amazing view here in Lariat and is under $600,000, which is not something I usually see, especially when you look at that floor plan and the grand entrance on that plan. And throughout this video, there's 4 different home tours, 4 different floor plans, all possible to be built by Coventry in these various communities. But we got to keep going with this Haskell plan, because did I show this to you? It is so open concept. It's got this really cool grand entrance. And for some of my clients that tell me they don't want the stairwell to hit them in the face right when they get the front door, I do recommend this floor plan. There's a couple others that I do recommend where that doesn't happen. It's kind of a little bit hidden, but you still get this entrance that feels very grand as soon as you take a few more steps into that front door. Now, getting to the second floor, there's some upgrades that I really want to cover with you, because 2 of my clients that built this plan did the upgrade that's actually missing in this model home. But I got to show you this area first, because I never knew what to do with this space in my clients' homes, and I've walked their homes a million times while they were being built from scratch. And what's funny is also I'm zooming in on that bird. That bird's looking like it's looking for violence. That's interesting artwork that's there on the wall. But putting a couch there, like a chase with some artwork, let me know what you think about that. I think this accent wall is really cool, because accent walls that draw your eye up or force you to kind of look to a back wall in the back of a room, those are things that really make a difference from a design standpoint. And I'm telling you, I've walked homes 1,000+ times with clients where when they have great design, it makes the space feel very different. But I'm not sure about that couch in that area next to that bird artwork. Let me know what you think about that. But I really didn't know what else to do with that space. What I did know, though, is I love how the game room is private in this area. Sometimes people tell me they have a preference of having more of a loft, so it feels very open concept, but some people want more privacy in their home. And I think this game room gives you both. It feels very open to the rest of the area, but it's still a little bit more private. But the upgrade that's really missing here is a media room can go right over here. So where you see is that a Back to the Future car? Yeah, I think that was Back to the Future car artwork. And in that wall, through that wall, there would be double doors going to a media room. And at the time I'm recording this, that's currently an upgrade that's offered by Coventry if you build this plan from scratch. And usually most of their plans offer a media room. What's different about this plan is you can do a media room upgrade there, or you can do a 5th bedroom and another full bathroom there, but you can't do both. And so that is a bit of the compromise. So if you want 5 bedrooms, there is another plan that we're going to see later on in the video called the Wichita plan. And I've had 2 clients build that plan, and they chose that plan because they really wanted 5 bedrooms and a media room. Now, I love coming here and just looking out the windows. You never know when you're going to get views, and there are going to be homes across the street from there. But through those trees is one of my clients that built in this community at 3,100 square feet, and they just put a 100-inch TV in their media room. So I'm so excited for them. They also have a great view off their backyard. And I also love wallpaper like this. Like, how did Cairo get on this list? I'm seeing New York, Paris, London, and then Cairo. I know the pyramids are there, but it didn't seem like it mixed in with the cities that were on that wallpaper. And I'm not hating on Cairo. It just felt like it was a little out of place. So these are the fun things that I love showing throughout these home tours. Also, some other fun things. Take a look at this window. It's pretty large in the walk-in closet. And then do you see where the cars are there in the distance? That road that I'm pointing to, that's 214. So 214 is the main road that goes from the heart of Liberty Hill, the suburb that we're located in right now, and it goes north from Liberty Hill right into this community. At the time I'm recording this video, Williamson County has announced that they are planning to extend that road 214 all the way to 183. And if you don't know anything that's happening around this area, I'll tell you 2 things while we go through the next bedroom and bathroom, as well as give you some advice here on what I think is best to look at around this area. The first is 183 is getting extended, actually just completed at the time I'm recording this video. It got extended all the way to 29. So 29 is a road that goes east and west, and it connects 183, a major highway that runs through the city of Austin, runs all the way down to the airport. It connects 183 with I-35. I-35 runs north and south, and I-35 is a major artery into Texas from Mexico. It goes through San Antonio, it goes through Austin, it goes through Dallas, it goes throughout the country. And so the main artery between these areas was 29. So you just have to get down to 29, and sometimes it's annoying. At rush hour, sometimes I get stuck in Liberty Hill, and I'm like, this Lariat community is kind of farther out than I thought, but the beauty of that is your dollar went really far, right? The builders know they need to entice people to get out to this area, and my clients have all capitalized on it. But what's really interesting is when that 214 combines with 183, that should get you quicker access to the rest of the city of Austin or Liberty Hill, Leander, like this entire suburb, and that's going to be huge for this area. Now, the second thing that I want to mention is a question that I'm getting often, almost every single week at this point, and that is from people looking at buying into the market. They say, is now the right time to buy? And I want to give the same answer that I give to everyone, which is number 1, it depends on your criteria. There are people that have to move here. They get a job offer. They definitely don't want to rent. The idea of moving twice in the next year is horrifying to them. And so they don't want to do it. And so that might be, I might give different advice to that person to somebody else. But for a lot of people right now, I'm telling them to wait if they have certain criteria where supply of their criteria is going to be more in 3 months or 6 months. And even though that's hard to predict in some of these resale neighborhoods, with new build neighborhoods, it's much easier to predict. To kind of give you an example of this, we have a community that we're going to tour a little bit later on in this video. And one of my clients a year and a half ago who built the Haskell plan, they had to buy right when lots came up because they really wanted a certain direction of the front door facing, and they wanted northeast facing. And there was lots that were coming up where 7 lots were going to open up. 6 of them were north facing. 1 of them was northeast facing cul-de-sac lot. Had the biggest backyard out of all of them by far. And even though the market was not doing great at that time, it's not like buyers were piling into the market, I told my clients they should buy right away because they really wanted that lot. And I knew the builder had built up a lot of interest in this new section. Now, 99% of sections, I would never say that, but that section and that they want to build the Haskell plan. They want that lot. They decided to build right when the lots opened up, literally at 12:01 a.m., a minute after midnight when the system opened up lots. And they were able to land on this backyard. But the most interesting part is we got an email at 3:30 a.m. in the morning, and the builder agent said, congratulations, 6 other people bought right after you, and 4 of those 6 people all wanted your lot, the cul-de-sac lot. And I know that for a fact because my clients moved in. Those neighbors were all saying, oh man, your art is so great. We actually tried to get it, but you were first in line. And that's what I'm doing for all my clients, is getting what they want, but advising them accordingly based on what they want. Now, I have to say it again, most sections do not work like that, and I'm not always saying to buy now. In fact, most of my clients, I'm telling them to wait based on their criteria. It just depends on them and what's being offered at the time of the market. But if that's you, you want that unbiased perspective, you want to get on great views off the backyard, you want great lots like this, you want amazing plans, then reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. And if you want to understand a little bit more about pricing, stick with me. We got some great homes for sale, including this one in Parkside on the River. Now, this home may not have a lawn, but it does have tall ceilings and windows everywhere. And you have to imagine this floor plan built on a view lot, because later on in the video, I'm going to show you some of those view lots that are in this community. I'm also going to show you one of my clients' homes that built this plan from scratch with a beautiful view off their backyard. Now, this is the Willis plan built by Coventry Homes. It's over 3,200 square feet. We have 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. And this specific home is for sale at $745,000. They're still waiting on the lawn to come in. It still needs a deep cleaning, but try to still see past all of those things, because I want to show you not only a home for sale, but a floor plan that is so popular because it has these amazing tall ceilings, not just in the living room right here with this amazing fireplace design. You're also going to see that behind me in the dining room. Now, we're gonna start right here in the kitchen, and while I'm panning over to the kitchen, we are gonna talk a lot about Parkside on the River, this fast-growing community in Georgetown, Texas. And when I say fast-growing, there are so many lots that you can build on right now on 50, 60, 70-foot wide lots. There's even 80-foot wide lots that are coming up, and there's so much growth happening out here with different sections, and that's your advantage. So if you're looking at this from a buyer's perspective, you want to be looking at areas that have an increase in supply temporarily, so that when you buy in, you're buying in at a good price point. And I'm going to cover pricing and the experience that I have working with multiple clients building in this community. Now, what I think stands out about the Willis plan that's unique is you do have a kitchen island that does look out to the backyard. And some of my clients tell me they really like this if they're planning on putting a pool back there, or they just want to have eyesight into their backyard. You can see how well this kitchen is situated, and then how much natural light's coming in here. This is a cloudy day, and even on a cloudy day, you have a lot of great natural light coming in here. And by the way, I'll get you out to the backyard. While I'm at that backyard, I'll show you my client's view from their Willis plan that has a view. And actually, I'll probably get into the lots first. So I think you should see the lots that are here in Parks on the River. And you should also see plans like this that have extra storage, even just over 3,200 square feet. You have this big pantry area that wraps all the way around. And then what my clients really liked about this plan, the Willis plan, is you have this separate area where you can do some cabinetry, you can hide your appliances, you can have this as a separate work area. For my clients that built this plan from scratch, they actually work from home, and they liked having that as a separate workspace, so that when they're cooking dinner, when they need a little bit of a break, or they need to get to an email or something like that, they can just hop into that workspace. Now, I also had a client build this from scratch, and there is an upgrade that you can do here that is really interesting. They don't have it here. This is a 3-car tandem garage, but I'll tell you that upgrade, and I gotta actually think back if it was the Willis plan or the Wichita or the Haskell plan, but there is a workout room option in some of these plans with Coventry. And 2 of my clients built their plans from scratch in this community. They did the workout room, and they absolutely loved having their workout room right there on the first floor and have it as a dedicated space.
Now, while I was there, I did show you a 3-car tandem garage. You also had a utility room that's tucked in there. That's why there was a mud bench there as well. So you got access to that garage. Let me know what you think about this living room, which we're gonna get back up to, and this tile. I think for some of these tiles, when they have veins running through it, I really love seeing those veins go vertical. And I think on this one, you have a lot more movement. It's more like almost like a spider web is what it reminds me of. Let me know what you think about that, if there's a preference there. And then there's a lot of neutral colors in this specific home for sale. If you're not liking this, again, if you wanna maybe do a light dark option, like I have somebody who did like dark cabinets and then light everything else, you can do that when you build from scratch, and I have a lot of examples of that. But what you can't do is change your property. Once you're locked into a property, then you just gotta have to live with what's around you. And for this specific home, we are backing up to neighbors. I think that's a reason why it's discounted at this time. But if you don't like this, then you have to see amazing view lots that are here in Parkside on the river. Hey, real quick, these are the lots that I was referencing earlier here in Parkside on the river. So at the time I'm recording this video, there are multiple streets with nothing but lots available that you can build on with various builders here in Parkside on the river. And this view that you're seeing here is incredible, but keep in mind, like some of these lots are gonna have great views. They just haven't taken down the trees where they're gonna be building the homes. They could have very similar views to what you're seeing here. And one of my clients actually built with Coventry right down the street. Their house is right over there, and I have a full detailed tour of their home. They've also sent me pictures at sunset and sunrise, and it looks amazing off their backyard. So if you want access to more lots that are coming up like this, I'm touring communities, and I'm touring sections in communities that are gonna be available for sale in 3 months or 6 months, and nobody's talking about them. But I'm telling some of my clients to wait for those sections that are coming up. If you want access to that, scan the QR code on the left side of your screen. If you're watching this on your TV, if you're watching this on your mobile, just go ahead and click on the link at the top of the description of this video, and I have a weekly newsletter that sends you an email and details lots that are coming up. Not lots like this, because I'm usually there when it's a dirt road, there's not even any signs up, but you're starting to see the beauty that's in an area, and I want you to get ahead of all the options that are here in the Austin, Texas metro. All right, back to the video. Now, getting back into the video, I know this doesn't look great with all the mud, but this is a lot of usable backyard space. And then we do have mature trees. I would have to double check that they're keeping that there, but usually at this stage of construction, they're probably keeping it there. I can always get a definitive answer from the builder. And then one upgrade that's not shown in this home that you can do at the time I'm recording this is instead of having this patio cut off right here, which is kind of the end of the living room, it can actually wrap around in an L shape. And I'll show you later on in the video one of my clients who actually did that upgrade and had a view. And I'll show it to you when we actually get up to the game room. So the game room is right up there. They also did a media room upstairs. You're not gonna see that in this home, but what I love about that game room is these tall windows in the living room. You can see right out of them. And so that view and that beauty is captured right there from that game room in so many places with my clients. And when I say with my clients, yes, they close on that home, they still live in that home, they love that home, but you can do what my clients did on a great view lot, which you just saw there. And then you can get windows if you have a corner lot looking out to a view as well. It just depends on the lot that you pick. But either way, you get these great tall ceilings. And what I want to go back to is these windows that you see there. You see all those windows when you get up to that game room. And it's incredible when you can see a beautiful view from so many different angles in a room. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, this home feels so much bigger than the square footage says. And it's usually design, views, and ceiling height is making the difference. Now that continues here in the primary bedroom where you see windows on both walls. If you are worried about privacy, obviously you can have blinds on these windows on this side. But for that side, what I always recommend is just put a film on there that gets you privacy so nobody can peek in. I mean, those windows are very tall, so I don't know why that would happen. But for my wife and I, we have those windows in our primary bedroom, and just for added privacy, we bought a film off Amazon. It was very inexpensive. I'm not very handy, and I can tell you right now, it was very easy to install. You just have to spray something on the window and then install the film and then cut off the edges. So not a big deal there, but it is a big deal adding windows, right? Like if you don't add those now while it's being built, it's very difficult to do these things after closing. Very expensive to do it after closing. Now, what my clients really liked about the Willis plan when they built it is they loved this wide open primary bathroom. A lot of people say these Coventry plans really open up in this space. What they also say is they love designing. Like a lot of my clients love putting the tile all the way up to the ceiling. I do think it makes a big difference for the price point that they usually charge. I say usually because sometimes these builders do change it up. And then a lot of my clients like doing the freestanding tub instead of this oval tub that has a tile surround. They feel like it makes it feel a little bit more modern. Let me know what you think about that. I'm getting some mixed reviews on that. The freestanding tub does come with a price tag. So, when we're looking at these inventory homes, generally speaking, there's going to be more compromise here, but that compromise is usually you don't get as much as you want in your home, but you get a better price. And that's just generally speaking, okay? That's not always, but for some of these homes, especially like this one, it's towards the end of completion. The grass is gonna be going in soon. But the tough part is if I ever wait on these homes to get a video of them, sometimes they sell, and then when they sell, I don't wanna go in here, even if it's still owned by the builder. I don't think that's the right thing to do. But this home is still available, and I think you still get a good visual of how this home is situated. Like take a look at the utility room. It does have access from one of the closets, so you do get two closets here. One closet that we've already gone through that's a little bit smaller, and then this closet. So if you're somebody that's fighting with your spouse for space, you don't have to do that here. You have both closets in this home. Now stick with me here because there's still a lot to see in this plan. We got 2 bedrooms downstairs, so there's still a secondary bedroom. We do have a study. We do have a upstairs game room. It is missing a media room, but I can show you where my client's media room was. And then before I get to that study and that secondary bedroom, we do have a powder bathroom. So I mentioned before, it's a 4.5 bathroom home. One of the bathrooms upstairs is a structural upgrade at the time I'm recording this video. And while we go through the rest of this first floor, let me explain what that means. So sometimes you can buy these homes that are available, like this one, available for sale, currently listed at $745,000. Or you can build from scratch. And so the lots that I just shared with you, those are lots that you can take these plans, build them, and then there's different options that you can select with these different plans. Now, when you contract on a lot, and what that means is you sign a contract, you put the deposit down, and that lot is now not owned by you, but you have the right to pretty much own the home that's going to be built by Coventry Homes on that lot. At the time of contract, you do need to select the floor plan and the structural upgrades that are in the home. And all the structural upgrades really mean is anything that changes the structure of the home, that's a big upgrade. You really need to select that at that time of contract. If you don't select it at that time of contract, you can't go back because a lot of those upgrades are in the permits. And as soon as you sign the contract and you put money down, they're gonna send this in for permits. And once they're sent in, they don't ever re-permit or make changes after the fact. And so that's where coming in prepared to these meetings is very important. So what I usually do is I set up an Excel sheet that shows you what I think your best options are, and then we talk about it. And instead of trying to sell you on doing all these different upgrades or doing the opposite, telling you you don't need all these upgrades so it fits somehow in your budget, I tell you what I think is important to have for future resale and different things that you've told me and my team that was really important to you. For example, with some of these builders, the second bedroom down is not included. Sometimes it's an upgrade. At the time I'm recording this, I know I keep repeating that because these upgrades keep changing, but at the time I'm recording this, almost every 2-story plan with Coventry has that second bedroom down. It also already has a study. You don't have to play this game of doing an upgrade there. Of course, if that changes in the future, please double check this or work with me and my team. We're always tracking these changes and telling you how some of these builders, they don't make price changes on paper, but sometimes they stop including different upgrades, and that's their way of increasing prices. But they hide the price increase. They just don't tell you because you're not looking at these homes on a weekly basis for years. You're looking one time, right? But we are, right? I've been going through this home for, these types of homes for about 5 years now, constantly. And that's why I take videos and I get, changes that these builders are doing. Hey, real quick, this is my client's home that built the Willis plan from scratch. And as you can tell, they have an incredible view off their backyard. It does back up to a road, but because they're perched above that road, they have this great view that they can see right from their game room. And this is one of the biggest reasons we decided to build in this lot. We felt like the lot premium was not as much as other lots that had amazing views, and we felt like this would make sense for our current circumstances. Also, the upgrades in my client's home are amazing. So if you want details on this, definitely reach out to me. And if you want to build your plan from scratch, you're looking at various builders and you want an unbiased perspective on what your best options are, then go ahead and scan the QR code here on the left side of your screen, and I'd be happy to work with you on building out what your pricing and your options look like. Me and my team are constantly working with people who reach out to us from social media who want to build their plan from scratch. But again, they want that unbiased perspective. Reach out to us, happy to help. Back to the video. Okay, I hope that game room view is something that you liked, but keep in mind, you also have this home for sale that has a good mature tree. You can't see the neighbors when you curl around on this side, but you can see how big of a difference mature trees make, especially when they're right in your backyard. Now, getting back to what I was mentioning about structural upgrades, is one of the structural upgrades is actually right here. You can do a media room upgrade. That door right now goes to an attic space, but you can build out a media room there, and I think it bumps the square footage to around 3,400 square feet. What we were talking about with structural upgrades is you select those at contract, but you don't select your design at contract. Your design is your flooring, your countertops, your cabinets, your electrical, your your handles to the doors, your kitchen appliances. There's so much that goes in at design. And so you don't select that until you're around 30 to 60 days under contract. So you already have money down, you already signed a contract, but you don't know what your final price is yet. And if you get that final price after you pick all your design upgrades and you don't like it, to my knowledge, you can't just back out and get your money back, right? The builder's already spent money sending things in for permits and doing all the things that they do when you first sign the contract. And so that's why I really make an effort to prepare our clients before they go to the design, or before they even contract with a builder. They should know whether they're going to be on the high end of doing design, like above average, if they're more average, or they're below average. And that's simply just having a conversation with me and my team, discussing what you really value in a home. That's why I do so many videos of these home tours, so that when we're deciding on what design to do, I have all the videos, I know how to reference them. My team and I are very knowledgeable on what your options look like with these different builders. We also make recommendations based on resale, which I think really helps. And that's why our clients love building from scratch. But for some of our clients that are looking to move a little bit faster, they like the idea of getting a better price on some of these homes, especially in this current market, they look at options just like this one. Now, keep in mind, we're in Parkside on the river. There's great lots here. You saw views everywhere. There's a bunch of builders with various inventory, and there is a new amenity center that just completed here. So I do love coming out to this community. It does have topography and these hills that are here, and that's why people love living here. It is, out of the communities that we're touring in this video, one of the most expensive neighborhoods, relatively speaking, because it's closer in than the next community that we're gonna get to, which is called Santa Rita Ranch. And in Santa Rita Ranch, we got a lot of homes that we could tour here, but I wanna show you this one that has an amazing view. Now, this is the Wichita plan built by Coventry Homes. We're in a community called Santa Rita Ranch that has nothing but new construction around here. They're planning on building 10,000 homes in this community. And for that reason, you don't get that many homes that back up to beautiful greenery. And that's exactly what you're gonna see off the back of this home that has this running theme with Coventry of tall ceilings, great design upgrades, and windows everywhere. And I keep repeating that throughout the video because that's the best way of describing exactly what my clients do when they come out to homes just like this. I often see it. I get in through the front door, they go right out to the main living area, and their eyes go up, and they are shocked that you can get this at this price point, which is currently for sale at $739,000. Now, this home has 5 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms. We do have a 3-car tandem garage. And this specific home is a good indication of what you can get in Santa Rita Ranch. It is discounted because it's near completion. And this Wichita plan with the upgrades that are in here is just under 3,500 square feet. So you're seeing a home a little bit more square footage than Parks on the River, but around the same price, actually a little bit lower. And that's typically what we see in Santa Rita Ranch, just because it's a little bit further out than the home that we just saw, which was in Parks on the River. And you have so much new construction in here, which I mentioned previously. And we're going to go through this home in detail. And I can't wait for you to see the upstairs. There is an upgrade that I think is missing, but it does get you a lot of rooms. We got 2 bedrooms downstairs and 3 bedrooms upstairs. But I can't wait for you to see the view that's here, because I was shocked when I saw this street. I knew there were going to be homes way in the back because there's another section they're planning for. And you'll see that it's pretty much cleared out at this point, or for the most part. But you have some great lots that are available here, and I'm going to show you those in a second. Now, I want to show you the pantry that's here. We do have a separate dining area, which is a little bit different than the previous plan that we saw, but very similar to the Haskell plan, which is around the same square footage. The Haskell plan is a little bit larger, and you do feel that, I think, in the Haskell plan in the living room, which is definitely larger. I've measured it, at least at the time of this recording. It is larger, but what you don't get is you don't have an option upstairs in the Haskell plan where you can get a media room upgrade as well as get 5 bedrooms. And that's exactly what you can do in this plan. And then even though we're seeing white walls, keep in mind I have a client who built this Wichita plan. They did an awesome accent wall here in the living room. They also had a fireplace in the corner. They also did an accent wall in their study, in their primary bedroom. They did one in the kids' bedrooms upstairs. But what they loved most about their home is how well this living room opens up. And it's because of the windows, it's because of sliding glass doors like this that you can do as an upgrade. And what I want you to imagine is just opening up this door and enjoying your backyard like this. And this is what makes the Wichita plan really stand out. I think Coventry does this really well on a couple of their plans, and that is very tall ceilings in the patio. And because there are trends and windows above the sliding glass doors in the living room, I think you really feel that space out here, because you can see out right into those tall ceilings. You also get a backyard patio where they did an extension here. And both of my clients that built this plan, the Wichita plan, did that extension. I highly recommended it. But take a look at this lot. Keep in mind, this home's for sale and listed at $739,000. I can't speculate in a public-facing video on what I think we could get it for, but I'll just give you a hint. We would definitely negotiate if we were working together on it. Yes, there will be homes back there, but I think this greenery makes a big difference. I did have a client who built this from scratch with Coventry, same plan in Santa Rita Ranch. They also backed up to a greenbelt. It's gorgeous. But I had clients also build this behind neighbors, and all they did after closing, they've already done it, they planted these trees. And right now those trees look puny, but they will grow in over time. And when they do, you can get some great privacy here. And my clients also did the same thing. They did a gas stub out here so they can make that area into a outdoor kitchen. And even though I don't get too many people with this tall of ceilings doing this, I do get people that put electricity or like electrical in the soffit of or the ceiling of the patio. And so they'll do it like right around there. And why they do that is so that a third-party company, after closing, can put in mosquito nets. And a lot of people always say, and they joke, here in Texas, the bugs are big. They are big. It's not a joke. It's very serious. But if you open those sliding glass doors, when are you going to do that? Because then a bunch of bugs are going to come in. And that's where I always recommend putting the mosquito nets. It kind of protects you from not only just bugs in general, but also protects you from the elements. Meaning I've had somebody in a Zavalla plan, another plan built by Coventry, and they had a Super Bowl party and they opened up their sliding glass doors off their back wall and they just put the mosquito nets down. And it was about 40 degrees here in Texas in Super Bowl, which is relatively cold for us Texans. And it felt great in that backyard patio. I was able to watch the whole game right from their backyard patio, and it almost felt like I was still inside. It was amazing. And this is also amazing. Let me know what you think about this. This is a very cool nook area that backs up to that beautiful greenery that we saw previously. We also have a tray ceiling. We have electrical up on the wall for a TV, and everything opens up right here in the primary bathroom. Now, for my 2 clients that built this plan from scratch, this was also a big reason why they liked this plan. It had a very large primary bathroom, and there was fun things that they could do from a design standpoint. For example, my client, instead of putting that light fixture right there in the center, they actually hung a chandelier. They did that after closing, but we made sure they had blocking in that area so that when we installed that chandelier, they don't have to put blocking in. They were just able to tie in to the electrical that was there. And then I believe both of my clients did freestanding tubs, or maybe one of them did, one of them didn't. Let me know what you think about that. And then what's kind of funny, not funny, this was drywalled over. And you wouldn't believe it. The guy drywalled over that window, and then we saw outside that window was there. And I'll be the first person to admit, it was actually my client that we were walking around. And they said, hey, that window we saw in other plans, we thought we weren't getting it, but I'm seeing it on the outside. And we kind of ran into the house. We said, there's no way somebody just put drywall over it. It's exactly what they did. So it's one of the funny things that we notice after walking through these homes often. And that's what I do for a lot of my clients. They caught it, in that case, they caught it a little bit earlier than me. But that's why I'm walking through, because you never know what some of these subcontractors can do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not an inspector and don't claim to be, but I do think having multiple sets of eyes on these homes, especially if you have a lot of upgrades in them, double checking those upgrades, making sure we're keeping the builder accountable to delivering on the product they said they would, it's so important. And you'd be so surprised at some of the things that I've seen. Like literally, that was a drywall guy just drywalling over that window. Thank goodness we caught that, and really excited for my clients because one of them closed with a beautiful greenery behind them and then another one with trees. And look, I keep talking about my clients because I want this for you. People, those clients all reach out to me through social media, and at first they saw videos like this and it just started building the dream. I don't claim to have the best videos on YouTube or any platform. I just give you detailed walkthroughs, and for people that really appreciate those details, they reach out to me and they want guidance. They want an unbiased perspective. They don't want to walk into a builder agent's office and just be sold that they're the best. They want somebody to tell them all the pros and the cons, and that's constantly what I'm doing with my clients. Also, what we're doing with our clients is design after closing. With AI, we can sketch this out, the dining room, and show you furniture that you can do to make this dining room feel so different. For example, you may not notice it at first, but there's a niche right here that you can put like some thin furniture just to make that into an accent wall. And you'd be surprised at how big of a deal these small niches are, because I've walked homes that don't have those niches, they don't have fun design in them, and they look very different from each other. Or it just becomes a bunch of white walls, which is what you see here, right? It's just an empty home, but you'd be surprised at things that you can do after closing. Now, you'd also be surprised at how many people buy homes in this community that don't have a second bedroom down. And I actually don't think I have one client that's bought a 2-story plan that does not have a second bedroom down. And it's because when you go to resell this thing, you'd be so surprised at how many people say, I must have a second bedroom down. And it's because there's 70 million millennials right now, and they are having kids. They want their parents, or they still have grandparents. If you know they're still around, they want them staying on the first floor, and they want them going in and out of a walk-in shower like this. And it's exactly what both of my clients did in their in their secondary bathroom downstairs. And I think these are the things that make a huge difference at resale. I also have a video that I posted a couple of videos ago of a home for sale that had a great view. It was over 4,000 square feet, but it had a 2-car garage. And you'd be surprised at how many people also tell me garage space is a big deal, especially ones that tell me, I got kids or I got bikes, or my kids have bikes, I have bikes. So just storage in the garage is really important. And so some people tell me, while we're in the utility room here, heading to the garage next, this is one of the most important parts of their home. And if they don't have a 3-car garage or area for storage, they're not going to do it. It's a must-have. And what's funny is I have 2 clients building on that same street that have amazing views. And this is 2 videos ago. I don't want to call it out because it is a listing, so I'm not trying to say something bad about a listing. But my clients built on that street, and they built a plan that had a 3-car garage. They're also around 4,000 square feet. And what's funny is the sales price of the home with a 2-car garage is the same price that my clients paid, and they got a 3-car garage, and they got a lot more things. Their second bedroom downstairs is bigger. Upstairs, they had one of them had an option for a media room and a 5th bedroom, and there's just different things in each home. But these are the things that I think stand out more than most people think. Now, there's also a mud bench outside of that garage. My client built this plan from scratch in another community that allowed for a workout room. There are different things that you can do in these homes. It just depends on the developer. And while we're here in the study, which by the way, I think has great windows off the front, and imagine this as your Zoom background. My clients did wainscoting across this wall or something like that, and they have this beautiful accent wall, which is their Zoom background. And actually, my other client did cabinets and built-ins right here, and I think this is their Zoom background. So there's so many different ways you can do it. And then if I didn't show it to you at the front door, you have this open to the second story, which is fantastic. Also another opportunity to put a chandelier. Fantastic open concept plan here. Okay, getting into the developer restrictions. Most people don't know this, but some developers will require a builder to keep their square footage for a plan under a certain amount. And it's because the developer, which owns the land on that this community is being built, and they resell lots to builders, to resell lots to builders that are building on larger lots than this, they tell those builders, hey, we don't want you competing with the builder that's in the lower lot size, so we will put a cap on the amount of square footage that builder can do. So if it's a 60-foot wide lot, like most of these lots are 60-foot wide, they'll say, hey, you can't go over 3,500 square feet. And that's because the 70-foot wide lots are like 3,800 square feet or 4,000 square feet, and they don't want you to do upgrades that get you close to what you can build on a 70-foot wide lot. So it's just kind of like a keep the competition low type of thing. But what I always tell my clients is if there's a new phase, sometimes there's an opportunity with a builder like this where we can get one of the first lots and they might allow us to put in more square footage. For example, there is a media room upgrade that you can do. I believe it's right over here, and that door does not lead to a media room. It just leads to attic space. It's because they did not do a media room in this home. This is the game room, by the way. And I think that media room is really important because what people tell me is that they want an upstairs hangout area. You put a TV up here in these open concept homes, you can often hear that TV all the way down there. And, you know, TV or kids noise, like I love my kids. I love being around them, but not always, right? Because sometimes we need some privacy, right? We need to just have some space between each other. And I want them to have their own space. I want them to have fun and play with each other. And sometimes having a separate room that encloses their volume, I think that's like the nicest way I could say it, is great. And that's where I think the media room upgrade is fantastic. And both of my clients did the media room upgrade. One of them did that workout room downstairs, which they offered. They actually built on a 70-foot wide lot, so they did a 4th-car garage. So instead of a 3-car tandem, they had a 4-car garage on their lot. So there's so many fun things that you can do if you time it correctly. Because for my clients, they were one of the first people to build in that phase, and that's what allowed them to be one of the few that got a media room upgrade on this plan. I think it ends up being over 3,700 square feet. And then my clients that built in another community called Parkside on the River, which we saw previously, they built and ended up around 4,000 square feet on this Wichita plan. So many things you can do. And it's one of the things that I keep bringing up to people is timing is everything. If you know what your options look like, it can make a world of a difference, especially when you're making a big decision like buying these big homes. Okay, now we do see some great greenery off the transom windows. Sometimes people prefer those to be a little bit higher so they're more in line. But the tough part is then you may not get that tall ceiling height. So it is a give and take on this plan, the Wichita and the Haskell plan. It's not necessarily at eye level. And so it's again, a give and take. And that was one of the compromises. One of my clients who had an amazing view mentioned about their plan, but they love the ceiling height in their patio. And they have an incredible view anyway. They also built in Parkside on the River, and they built the Haskell plan with Coventry. Okay, now we got a couple bedrooms split by a Jack and Jill full bathroom. And while we're here, I want to mention Santa Rita Ranch. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I alluded to the fact that there are a lot of builders right now in this square footage. Previously, it was just Coventry and one other builder. Now it's Coventry and 6 other builders. So I've never seen this much inventory come online. And I'm telling my clients, it's a very, not fast moving, what's the word? Dynamic market, meaning I just had a builder in another community where I told everybody, do not buy, wait, there's a lot of supply coming online. That supply came online, and after a month or two, when the market was kind of at a standstill and the builder was not making enough sales, guess what they did? They increased the incentives $100,000. Can't make this stuff up. $100,000. And there were 2 people that contracted in a 2-month time period. And I feel for them, right? They didn't buy at the right time, but literally 2 months later, they could have got $100,000 off their home. So timing is everything, and I'm constantly going through that with my clients. Okay, if you liked this home, you want to get ahead and you want to see more greenbelt lots that are coming up. I talk about sections that are coming up in communities that nobody else is talking about that are coming up 3-6 months from now. If you want access to that free newsletter, scan this QR code and I'll send you a weekly email that tells you lots and new communities that are coming up in the near future. Now, if you want to keep seeing options, one option that has an amazing view that's much lower in price than this home, then check out this home in a new community called Lariat. Now, this is the Zavalla plan built by Coventry Homes. It has an amazing view and a grand entrance, but I gotta first show you this. This is Lariat. There's some topography in this community, which you can see there going up to that hill, and you're gonna see that off the back of this home that has 4 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, over 3,200 square feet, and this home is for sale at $599,000. So to be sub $600,000, to get a grand entrance like this, and to get a view that we're gonna show you from so many different angles off the backyard, these are the types of opportunities that are bringing me out to this community called Lariat, which is a little bit deeper into Liberty Hill than the prior community that we just saw. Santa Rita Ranch has a little bit less inventory like every other community. Nobody matches Santa Rita's amenities or 10,000 homes being built out, but Lariat is coming close. Lariat's built some great amenities inside the community. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but to get this type of view at this square footage with a builder like Coventry under $600,000, very interesting option. And this is the list price on this home that is currently completed. And you're gonna see that the lawn's in, everything's in this home. We got a great view because we do back up to some private space there. There are gonna be some homes built up on the peak that's in the hillside behind this home. I'll show you all that in a second, but I wanna first get into what I think makes the Zavalla plan a very different option from what most builders offer. And that starts right here in the kitchen, where we have a gigantic kitchen island. You got built-ins on the side of that kitchen island, and they did a white and gray theme here to just keep everything very neutral, and that's typically what we see in a lot of these inventory homes. Now, above this 5-burner gas stovetop, I like the gray lines that are running in through that backsplash. It gets drawn out by the cabinet color, but I think for this plan, it's all about the island size. Now this island size does shift over time. That's why I don't give dimensions in these videos, because it did shift recently, and I can explain to you what these shifts look like with these different builders, because I've seen some builders pull back. I've seen other builders do better and better with some of these plans, and I'm always tracking that for my clients. But I think for what you get at the square footage, you don't see island sizes usually that big. You have some built-in appliances, which I think we've seen throughout this video, and then you do have a pantry in here. Now this plan, if you build it from scratch, there are 4 upgrades that I would mention to you that are things that you can do at the time I'm recording this video, but I don't think you're gonna see some of those in this plan. But hey, you're sub 600,000, you get a great view. There's a give and take when you have these pricing. I mean, sometimes that's why the price is the price for some of these homes. Like for example, take a look at this dining room. It's already got a good light fixture in here. I would call this like an upgraded light fixture. Let me know if that triggers you. Some people say they get tired of the builders' light fixtures, and some builders like Coventry has listened. That's why on these inventory homes, they're doing something fun like this than some of your more circular, like typical builder light fixtures. But forget the lights, because you can always change that out if you want. You can change this, which is beautiful topography, greenery behind your home. And this is why I keep coming out to Lariat. Now you do have neighbors on your right. I've actually toured that home that I think is actually still for sale. The home right next door to this, I've also toured that. That actually just sold recently. But for this home that is currently for sale, you do get great privacy off your backyard. You do have usable backyard space. There's definitely a slope, some grading in there. It's a little bit more flat on this left side, but on the right side, it definitely slopes downward there. And so I want to call that out, but I would say this, relatively speaking, is good usable backyard space. And then I will tell you, they are planning on building homes up there, and obviously that can take out some of the view that's here, but I would say mostly you get a lot of beauty here in Lariat. Like, take a look at that. And then what I'm most impressed by is the amount of forever homes that are coming to this community. And that's in that section that Coventry is also building in. They build on 60-foot wide lots at the time I'm recording this, along with 70 and 80-foot wide lots. And the builders that have come into this community to build on those larger lots and build forever homes are great. And I've worked with all of them. And I love seeing communities do that, because I'm not saying everybody needs to live in a huge home, 3,000 to 5,000 square feet. What I am saying is no matter what you buy, when you're around homes that are 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, and there's a lot of them, investors are, generally speaking, are not buying that big of a home and renting it out. The price to rent ratio almost never makes sense. And that's when you get people that buy these homes, they stay in them long term, and that creates the prestige factor that some communities get, where when you look at future resale, people want to live in those communities that everybody lives in and stays in long term. And they also want things like this, like some of these small things, like a niche that is perfect for putting a TV up on the wall, putting some built-in furniture in there, sitting on your couch, and just enjoying this beautiful view off the back of your home. Let me know what you think about this. I am shocked coming out here to Lariat and seeing these completed homes. I think at the time of the market right now, when you see this amount of inventory, it is scary to buy. And there are most areas right now I would not be buying in, especially areas that have more supply coming up. But there are some areas that I have clients that are looking around thinking, wait a second, I wanted views the entire pandemic off the backyard, but you had to bid, you had to do multiple bids with builders, you had to build on a lot, and then there was delays with everything going on in the pandemic. Now you're looking at homes like this that have these amazing views, and they're just sitting around, and that can be great. That can be a great advantage for you as a buyer, especially when you're looking to negotiate. Now in this Zavalla plan, what I think they did really well are these primary bathrooms that feel very spacious. Let me know what you think about the upgrades in here. You usually don't see like a dark tile like this, but if you're gonna do a dark tile, do it on the lower part of your design. Like a lot of times in the kitchen, people do the darker kitchen island color, and that way the exterior cabinets or the bottom cabinets are dark, The lighter cabinets are on the upper cabinets, and that forces your eyes to look up. That's the same thing they did here in the primary bathroom, where you have a darker floor tile in the shower, darker floor tile in the bathroom, you have darker cabinets, and then everything else above them is very light and bright. And that, from a design standpoint, always forces your eyes to look up. Okay, and there's still a lot to see here. There's a big study in this Zavalla plan that I'm excited for you to see. I'm also gonna show you lots throughout this video that share what's coming up here in Lariat. And I'm gonna show you one of those that's at the end of this video that is absolutely amazing and really captures the beauty that's here in Liberty Hill, Texas. Now, while we get to the utility room next, we'll see the study. There's actually a secondary bedroom downstairs. One thing I wanted to mention was here in Lariat, you have to go a little bit deeper into Liberty Hill, Texas to get to Lariat, compared to the other options that I mentioned previously, like Santa Rita Ranch. But one thing that is happening sometime in the near future is they're planning to extend the road, the main road that goes to this community, all the way out to 183. And I got to build a bridge to do that. Haven't got an exact timeline. They've talked about the design phase completing soon, but I don't know what that means, if that's actually going to be completed soon. And so I am telling people that that's coming up. I have had people close in this community at a great price, and we're all hoping that that happens sooner than later, because proximity to 183 is going to be everything, especially as you look at this northwest corridor that continues to develop. Now, moving on with the home, there are some structural upgrades that I did want to mention. One of those is you're going to see a study here in a second, and then a secondary bedroom that has a full bathroom off of it. One of the options that you can do is make this utility room a little bit smaller. It puts a powder bathroom right here, and then you can make the bathroom that's on this side en suite for this bedroom. Right now, this bedroom and full bathroom is accessible from to each other from a hallway. And for some people, they say, hey, I'm planning on putting my parents or grandparents on the first floor. I don't want them going up and down the steps. I want them to have their own private area here that gets lots of great natural light, which you can see here. It's a good look at the dumpster next to my car. It's typically what I'm looking at when I look at the front of the home. Is construction war zone is usually where I'm at every single day of the week. And I'm not complaining. I love doing what I do. I love getting people their dream home. It's all well worth it. But for me, I've kind of normalized all those dumpsters around these new build neighborhoods. But what people tell me is they don't like this. Like when their parents are coming out of the bathroom, they don't want the front door accessible. And sometimes that can be a little bit awkward. Like, you have guests coming in the front door, and then you have somebody who's staying with you on the first floor, exiting the bathroom from a shower. May not be always the best case scenario on these forever homes. Again, this home's at $599, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you're building from scratch, these are some of the upgrades that you can choose yourself, where you could make this bathroom en suite. And if you like doing some of those upgrades, wait until we get upstairs. I got a lot going on upstairs that I'm excited for you to see. And what we want to see next is going to be the study. Now, I had one of my friends buy the Zavalla plan, and they loved this study location. One of the spouses actually works from home, and so this being kind of right off that front door and being a big space, they love the natural light that came in here. They love using this study. But what they love most, that I think is underrated in this plan, is when you exit this study or you enter the front door, it's this entrance. It's so wide. And a lot of people are surprised that you can build this on a 60-foot wide lot, because they've seen plans with other builders that are on 60-foot wide lots, and they don't feel this wide. And this is what I think the Zavalla plan does really well, and that really maximizes the view. Like, take a look at this. I'm right at the front door, and I can see right out here to how many windows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 windows. And you could even say 9. I mean, I'm right here at the front door, just looking around, and I'm getting so much natural light, even on a cloudy day. And these are the things that make a big difference in these homes, because I've walked through homes of this square footage and they don't feel as anywhere near as big. but they don't have tall ceilings, they don't have windows, and they definitely don't have grand entrances like that. Now, this is what my clients also like. When you get to the top of the landing, everything feels wide open, which is the running theme here in this plan. Take a look at this. But take a look, or take a listen, I should say, to the structural upgrades that you can do here. So you have a game room here on one side. We got a couple bedrooms split by a full bathroom on another side. But at the time I'm recording this video, the upgrade that you can do is a media room. So you can do a media room right here. So through that wall, which has this mini door because it goes to an attic, you could do a media room upgrade there. You could also do a 5th bedroom, 5th bathroom there. You could also do a powder bathroom, which would put a secondary powder bathroom upstairs right there. But you can't do all of them, right? You can only do one of those things that I just mentioned. Another upgrade that you can do is if you wanted to add a full bathroom here, you can add an in-suite full bathroom to this bedroom. And then you would also have a hall bath, which we'll get to in a second. And these are some of the fun things that my clients love doing, because if they're gonna spend money on their forever home, they wanna maximize what they really want out of a home. And that's the beauty of taking these plans. You can kind of change them around, make them, add things to them that are exactly what you want in a home, and then really maximize things that I always talk about, like views off your backyard, beautiful greenery, greenbelt lots. I have a client that's on a corner lot, and even their study downstairs has an amazing view, and it's off the side of their house. They have amazing windows in that study. And so you'd be surprised at some of the things you can get in these plans that absolutely make a difference in how they feel. Another factor I'll tell you right now, kind of going along the theme of when to buy, because that's a big question that I'm getting right now. I'm getting a lot of people that have anxiety over whether they buy now and then prices continue to go down. And I'm going to be the first person to tell you that's always possible, right? Nobody has a crystal ball and can tell you exactly what's going to happen in the short term. What we do have control over, though, is we can predict in some of these new build neighborhoods, relatively speaking, the amount of supply that can come up. Now, we can't tell you how many resale homes are going to, sell. I can tell you the rumors I'm hearing. I'm talking to listing agents constantly. I'm doing videos like this, videos for builders, videos for listing agents. I'm doing that because it's grown my network drastically, where I'm constantly getting great information on what's coming up. With builders especially, they have phases sometimes that are coming up that are 50 new lots, 60 new lots. Sometimes they're going to add 3x the amount of inventory that they had a year ago. And when I see that in certain areas that my clients are interested in, and there's going to be a lot of options that open up, then my answer of should I buy now or should I wait? If you're not desperate to get into a home, you're not in a huge rush, then in those scenarios, you should wait. And for some of my clients, like I have a client right now that's looking at east-facing lots. They really want privacy or a view off the back of their home. And I'm telling them, I don't know how long that's actually gonna last when you want a very specific property type, like the direction needs to face in a certain way, and you have to have a view or you have to back up to privacy. And so I'm telling them, for some of the communities that we're looking at, I would buy now in certain these areas, because now that the builders have sat on inventory, they've done their discounts, the probability of it continuing to go down is not as great as the probability of you missing out on an opportunity. Now, for others that are a little bit more flexible, that have some criteria but are not as selective with the specific lot they need, maybe they don't have to have a view like this, then they should wait. And I'm telling a lot of people to wait. I'm also telling people to check out lots like this. Hey, real quick, I'm at a lot that is currently for sale that has an incredible view of the topography that's here in Liberty Hill, Texas. And this is why I keep coming out to this community in Lariat, even with a storm on the horizon. I think you can kind of see it around there. I was actually just talking to my wife. It's raining where she's located, about 20 minutes south of there. It still looks beautiful, and that's why I keep coming out to this community. And so if you want to get in on lots like this, you want to know what your best options are, and you want an unbiased perspective on the options that make sense for you, that are within budget, that get you most of what you want, then go ahead and scan this QR code it will start a text message. You just have to click send on your cell phone, and that will send a text message directly to my cell phone, and we can connect. Now, if you're watching this on your mobile, you're loving views like this, you want to look at options across the Austin, Texas metro area, then go ahead and just click on the link at the bottom of the description of this video, and that will go to my calendar where you can book a call with me, and I'd be happy to discuss your best options for you. Now, if you want to see another home that YouTube recommends for you, go ahead and click right here. And as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.